Hello everybody, a bit of a different video today. Today I'm getting to do something I've wanted to do for quite a little while now, which is to get a ride on an electric motorbike. Now, obviously it's a bit of a bone of contention for a lot of bikers, but electric motorcycles are definitely on their way to us. They're obviously here with us now. Some people sort of would be against the idea of them not having the performance and them not being a real motorbike. Well, I've had a little taste of this bike and it certainly does have some performance, and it certainly, it is a motorbike. It's got good quality components in there, the shower forks, Diablo Rosso tyres, so it's certainly lending itself to a to a sporty road machine. Power on this bike, the torque on this bike is 146 newton meters, which is incredibly high for a motorcycle, and even for the vehicles as well. We'll get on, we'll have a little ride, and I'll let you know what I think. But what we won't get is the sound of an engine. So at the moment I can see I've got 64% battery. I've got quite a low range, and that's because I've been in sport mode, and that has brought it down. Range on the bike with a full battery and the extra, you're looking at about 140 miles, which is plenty really for a lot of the work you're going to do on one of these, and certainly as a commuting machine and a sort of a fun machine for an hour or two. These are going to be perfect for a lot of people. It really is as simple as twisting the throttle and we're away. So yeah, once we're on the move, no sound of any engine. We do get a bit of noise because I've got wind noise around my helmet and stuff. Oh, that sounds a bit wrong, doesn't it? Well, I've got wind around my helmet. But in eco mode, there's obviously a lot less power coming out of that motor. But we're cruising at 60 miles an hour. And we got there quite quickly, so also in eco mode, when you lay off the throttle, the bike has a regen in the motor, so the power then, as we let off the throttle, puts a little bit charge back into that battery for you. And it's a funny sort of acceleration, because it's sort of all rush really. The bike has two of the modes as well, so we've got three modes in total. We've got the eco mode, which we're in at the moment, which as it you'd imagine is the most economical for the bike and for battery conservation. And then we have a custom mode. Now in custom mode, you can you have an app you can get from the App Store, put it on your phone, and essentially that gives you a screen of sort of slides and settings where you can set how much torque you get out, how much regen and stuff you're getting into the bike, and really just set it to your riding style. And the last mode is sports mode. And again, a lot of people are going to look at this sort of bike and sort of scoff at the thought that it might have a sports mode, but let me tell you, this bike in sports mode, it's one of the fastest accelerating things I think most people are ever going to be on. They give a 0 to 60 time of about 3.3 seconds, which is incredibly fast. And just to put it into context, 146 newton meters of torque, that's sort of, Panigale Superleggera territory. And out of a sort of unassuming looking bike like this, that is a lot of power. So what we'll do while we're, and again, you come to a junction, It's just dead silence. It's very strange. So we're going to flick to custom to sport, and I'll just see the difference in the acceleration. And there you go. That is a rush of power from such a little bike. So yeah, anyone that thought electrics were a bit of a toy or a gimmick need to think again. Wheels Motorcycles, we're not a dealer for Zero at all. It may be something we look at in the future, and really I just wanted to, like I say, sort of get an experience of the bikes and see what is coming, because there's nothing more certain than there is going to be year on year more of a push to electric vehicles and to greener technology and stuff. So, and why shouldn't there be? I think anything we can all do in a little way to improve the sort of or minimise the impact we have is got to be good. You got to have your fun, but there's no point if it's to the detriment of everything else. This is just such an easy thing to ride. It is just effortless. I say it is very easy to ride, very easy to use. Really clear layout on the clocks. So yeah. So while we've quietened down a little bit, let's talk about price. Now, these bikes start from around about £10,500. You can buy extra battery packs for them, which essentially is obviously going to extend the range you can ride. They nearly all have room for that extra battery in there. And price, I think this bike, you probably £15,500, somewhere like that for this model. And you know, that's a lot of money, £15,500. You know, what can you buy at the moment for £15,500? And we all know there's some absolutely fantastic bikes in the market for that and much less. But electric's going to get obviously cheaper in the long run, but at the moment, let's just look at that, £15,500. Now, once you've bought one of these bikes, you're not visiting a petrol station anymore. So you can imagine how much money you're putting in, you know, for some people daily or week on week at fuel stations, servicing costs for the bike. So servicing costs are going to be much more minimal than a standard internal combustion engine, in the way that, you know, we've got no oil, no pistons, no valve checks, no oil filters, no air filters, no clutch cables, no clutch plates, no gears, no chain, no sprockets. And as we all know, these are the up costs and the upkeep costs that can catch anyone, really. I mean, charging on this, really, you are talking relatively pennies to charge this thing up. Most people, you're going to use this like your phone. You're going to use it during the day, you're going to charge it up overnight. At the moment, I think charge time is around about 8 to 9 hours from flat to a full charge. But they are working to bring in a fast charger, which they have, I believe, in the States, and you're looking at about 2 hours to about an 80% charge, which, you know, most people definitely could see as much more practical. I was sort of saying if they could get it so you could get a half, a three-quarter charge in an hour, as in over a lunchtime. You could nip out for lunch somewhere, plug it in, and by the time you've had a bit of lunch, your bike's back up to half power or more. That's certainly going to bring the appeal up. It's funny because you've got absolutely every confidence when you are doing like an overtake on a vehicle. Every confidence, you've got all the power there to safe and smoothly get by cars. I'll say it definitely is not lacking for power. It's sort of like a guilt-free way of getting to work. It's like low-calorie chocolate. That's just so strange when you stop to silence. And not that I will, but obviously the Renault with his booming stereo behind me. If I was that way inclined, you'd beat anybody off the lights with one of these. But I'm not that way inclined. So there you go. Today we've been having a little go on the Zero SR. Not something we're franchise bought for, but something that someone was kind enough to lend to me for a couple of days to get an idea of the tech and what's in the pipeline. And do you know what? I think a lot of people would be really happy with this bike. I would be really happy with one of these bikes. I think for coming to work on, you know, for getting out and about on sort of, you know, it doesn't really do anything badly or nothing that a motorbike wouldn't. I think if you do have one of these, obviously initially I think you'd burn the battery a bit because of the fun of it. But I think as you learn to live with one of these, you'd ride it that bit more sensibly, and it would fit right in with what you want to do with it. So it's going to be very practical. Say they don't really weigh too much. I say they make no noise. They're not hot at all. So I think it's pretty cool. Hmm? You can't handle it.
I saw it on Jack's face.
Too fast for you.